I want to remind the committee members and members of the public to follow our code of conduct at meetings. This includes commenting on the specific agenda item only and addressing the full body. Public speakers will not engage in a conversation with council members or staff. All members of the committee, staff, and the public are expected to refrain from abusive language. Failure to comply with this code of conduct, which will disturb, disrupt, or impede the orderly conduct of this meeting, will result in removal from the meeting. With that, the meeting of Neighborhood Services and Education Committee will now come to order. Are we just going to vote for a roll call? I have a please vote up here. Can the clerk please call the roll?
Candelas.
Present.
Torres.
Present.
Dwan.
Present.
Ortiz.
Present.
Davis.
Here. Thank you. All members are present. And for item B, the review of the work plan, we had on there to defer the Urban Confluence status report, but yesterday at Rules and Open Government Committee, we approved dropping that item from the NSE work plan, so no action is needed to defer this item. It will come back after, I think it will come back, Angel, right after the fiscal year when we do the new work plan. Yeah. There are no items on the consent calendar, so we will move to item D1, Education and Digital Literacy Annual Report. And we've got a whole cast of characters coming down. I have Samantha, Amanda, and Yadira. Is that right?
Education Strategy Manager for the San Jose Public Library. Today, my colleagues Amanda Adi and Yadira Orozco and I will provide the annual update on both the library and parks education and digital literacy strategy efforts in fiscal year 22-23. We are also joined by our colleagues from PRNS and Work to Future, whose work has been instrumental in the EDL implementation and is reflected throughout the report and the presentation today. The EDL strategy was approved by Council in May 2018 and is organized into the strategic action areas listed on the slide. The implementation of the EDL strategy is also grounded in our commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion, and a commitment to quality assessment, data collection, and analysis of program effectiveness and impact. The city, primarily through the Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services and Library departments, provides several programs designed to meet the needs of children ages 0 to 5 and their caregivers. As a license-exempt care provider, the city has a unique opportunity to improve early learning quality and options for families. The library provided more than 2,600 programs for 70,269 children and their caregivers at all 25 library locations. The library continuously seeks to evolve and adapt to the changing needs of the community while maintaining consistent levels of intentional planning for high-quality services. During the 22-23 school year, the San Jose Recreation Preschool served 286 unduplicated preschoolers ages 3 to 5. During this academic year, the Recreation Preschool offered 19 classes at 13 city sites. Each year, the program implements the nationally recognized Seeds of Learning curriculum, which supports the EDL policy. As part of this, the program conducts child and classroom assessments in the fall and spring of each year. In addition, families complete an intake form, which provide key demographic information. In a continued effort to reduce the barriers to accessing high-quality child care, the City of San Jose and the American Rescue Plan funded the scholarships, totaling over $300,000. City funding covered 75% of the scholarship cost, and the Rescue Plan funds covered the balance. There were 119, or 61%, of all students who had their full program cost covered, and the remaining 77 students receiving scholarships had at least 25% of their program costs covered. Participants in early education programs gain exposure to new ideas, acquire valuable skills, and explore a myriad of possibilities. Our secure environments provide a nurturing space for young ones to explore, play, connect, and undergo positive growth. Strategic actions associated with the early education work include cultural enrichment programming of the highest quality, comprehensive staff training, coaching, and support, implementation of early education quality standards across all city-sponsored programs catering to children aged 0 to 5 and their caregivers. This supports program planning, improvement efforts, and the fostering of a shared culture centered on high-quality programming. Adoption of a racial equity lens to enhance accessibility for a broad spectrum of diverse families. As a result of these efforts, the city will have improved license-exempt early education options for approximately 34,900 children and their families. Expanded learning programming serves children ages 6 to 14, providing educational opportunities outside of the normal school day, transforming our city into a classroom. Highlighted here are several expanded learning programs offered by both PRNS and the library in fiscal year 22-23. We'll spotlight just a few today. In fiscal year 22-23, the Student Library Card Program issued 98,000 library cards to students through their schools. The library works with 23 local education agencies to provide this program. PRNS offers programming at 26 locations, providing services for more than 4,900 students. And in summer 2022, PRNS served a combined total of 2,184 students through their various summer camp activities. Grade level proficiency impacts San Jose students across all neighborhoods and has been proven to be one of the leading indicators of later academic success in students of all demographics. Expanded learning programs for young people serve many critical functions for our city. Strategic actions associated with expanded learning include bolstering skills needed for academic success, the application of the expanded learning quality standards, and continuing to provide direct services to our community through both PRNS and library programming. I will now hand the presentation off to my colleague, Amanda Oddie.
Thank you. Good afternoon, council members. I'm pleased to speak about our college and career pathways work, which will be highlighted in more detail in an upcoming meeting to our Library and Education Commission on January 17th. Listed here are several college and career programs offered at the library and Work to Future. Today, I will highlight two of these programs, Career Online High School and the Resilience Core Learning Pathway. Adult learners in San Jose, ages 19 and older, without a high school diploma, can enroll in the library's Career Online High School program. Through this program, participants can earn a high school diploma and a career certificate in one of 9 high-demand career fields. The California State Library, the Library, and the Library Foundation offer fully paid scholarships to adult learners. During fiscal year 22-23, 39 learners were awarded scholarships and enrolled in the program, which takes approximately 18 months to complete, and 20 learners graduated. As of December 2023, 171 learners have earned their diploma and certification through Career Online High School since the program began at the library in 2016. The primary goal of the Resilience Core Learning Pathway is to address economic and workforce development needs among university students. It has a secondary goal designed to accelerate learning growth for K-12 students in San Jose. Resilience Core associates are placed with high quality and well-established expanded learning program providers serving San Jose students, including city-funded agencies. In fiscal year 22-23, 115 associates participated in the Workforce Development Program, serving 6,500 children in expanded learning programs. Staff across multiple departments are collaborating to develop a strategy and framework to guide how the city, directly and through strategic community partnerships, will ensure all residents have access to coordinated services along a continuum of care from cradle to career. This work will be integrated with the Children and Youth Services Master Plan, the San Jose Youth Empowerment Alliance Strategic Plan, as well as aligned efforts at the regional and state levels. By centering the lived experiences of target population groups like Opportunity Youth, the city will be able to more equitably and effectively allocate resources over time. I'll now pass it over to my colleague Yadira Roscoe to talk about digital equity.
Thank you, Amanda. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Yadira Roscoe. I'm the Digital Empowerment Program Administrator with the San Jose Public Library. I will be covering the EDL Strategic Action Area of Digital Equity. The initiative includes 3 main components, which are ensuring internet access, access to technology tools, and skill building opportunities. Where do I point? There we go, thank you. One of our major accomplishments in the last year was completing the construction and opening of 5 community Wi-Fi networks, bringing the total number to 8. The networks are getting consistent and heavy use with approximately 8,700 public users per month in each of the attendance areas. There are approximately 200,000 residents that live in an area serviced by a community Wi-Fi network. In fiscal year 22-23, the library provided access to over 9,000 devices, including hotspots, Chromebooks, and iPads, totaling over 20,000 device checkouts. Device inventory averages 98% checkout with less than 2% of devices available at any given time. In the fall of last year, AT&T made the city aware that the existing data plan for the devices would not be renewed, and so the city council approved a new rate and data limit, which may result in the reduction of available devices at the library. In September of last year, we transitioned the Digital Inclusion Grant program funded by the Digital Inclusion Fund to be managed by the library and the San Jose Public Library Foundation. The Digital Inclusion Advisory Board recommended grants awards to 7 community-based organizations who are expected to total over 1,000 adoptions when the grant period ends in June of this year. Given the progress in the digital adoption and changes in federal program, a revised grant structure will be submitted and brought to City Council with recommended changes in round 5 in the spring of this year. The library offers a variety of skill-building programs, including digital skill-building pathways, coding program, and one-on-one tech mentoring. Library staff and volunteers provide individualized technology support via one-on-one sessions, weekly Zooms, and in-person classes. Learners can also choose to work on their own pace through courses that are available to them via the library's website. Since the launch of the pathways in July, the library has hosted over 1,000 digital skill building related programs and have served a total of 1,800 learners. The Coding 5K Challenge engaged 3,600 participants in programs including Girls Who Code Club, boot camps, workshops, robotics, and summer camps. The library also continues to support the community with one-on-one technology support and small group programming. Oh, sorry, went back. There we go, thank you, Amanda. In this year, our program is focused on finalizing the digital equity assessment for City Council review and approval, managing the digital inclusion grant program, and evaluating the program structure ahead of round 5, outreach and awareness of affordable connectivity plan, and maximizing referral opportunities to enroll eligible households. We'll also be expanding the digital skill building pathways to include online job application, curriculum on online job application, social media use, Google Suites, and additional workforce development opportunities. We'll be re-envisioning computer science programming for youth and resource development for ongoing device access, that will be available through the library. And now I'll turn it back over to my colleague Samantha.
Thank you, Yadira. We'll now shift focus to look at both our EDI and policy work. The equity, diversity, and inclusion quality standards provide the framework through which all city educational programs will be assessed for centering and advancing equity. The EDI quality standards comprise 6 areas, including an anti-racist approach, inclusive programming, culturally relevant pedagogy, community involvement, and outreach. During fiscal year 22-23, library staff developed an EDI toolkit, which is included as an attachment to the memo, which is a list of recommended trainings and materials to support city staff capacity building in the 6 quality standard areas. In early summer, staff began to pilot a quality assessment of 5 adult programs. The feedback provided by this pilot group identified additional learning tools and guidance needed to support the self-assessments and supervisor feedback. These will be incorporated for additional program assessments during the next portion of the pilot process during fiscal year 23-24, which will expand the quality standards to more library programs. Looking at policy and governance, the library hosted the School City Collaborative in late October to review past and upcoming work plan priorities. The School City Collaborative is comprised of local education agency staff like school district superintendents and charter school leaders, the vice mayor, council members, and city staff. The mission of the School City Collaborative is to advance the educational attainment of all San Jose students. The fall 2023 convening provided an update on 22-23 accomplishments, transportation survey results, a Children and Youth Services Master Plan update, and a digital equity update. The executive committee of the School City Collaborative will be contacted in the next few weeks to schedule a meeting to begin discussion about the spring 2024 convening. PRNS and the library also provided substantial support in the creation of the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. This plan will provide a strategic framework and approach cementing the city's commitment to disrupting systemic racism, structural barriers, persistent inequities, and generational trauma. The city departments listed on the slide have engaged with 3,000 individual partners and content experts in the equitable development of the master plan. More information on the Children and Youth Services Master Plan will be shared with Council at an upcoming meeting. This concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for your time, and we will happily take any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
We have one public comment. Zoom speaker Paul Soto.
Thank you. Thank you for that report. What I found conspicuously absent from that report, and I'm going to request that you come back the next time you give that presentation, that you have included in there what some more accurate measurements. What you're telling us is that how many people that you've serviced, but I don't see any measurable outcomes that you've achieved with these allocations that you've been given. And that's what we need. We don't need it because we don't give you the money in order to, have numbers in the community. From what I saw, you had 200,000 people in that one particular area that were eligible for this particular service, but there was only 9,000 that accessed it. So that means only 5%. So if you have 200,000 people and you got, approximately 10,000 people that are accessing that, that's only 5%. We have to do better. We have to do much, much better. Secondly, is that I would like to have access to the curriculum. The San Jose Public Library has placed themselves in a pedagogical position. Okay, so it's important to me as an educator, because that's what I do. This is what I do, is that I educate the public. My education and the things that I bring forward literally removes statues and establishes historical landmarks. These are just facts. And so what I'm concerned about is, what are these children being told? Thirdly, we need to have, and I've talked to Work the Future about this. We really need to start establishing a direct pipeline between students on the east side and viable employment at these tech companies, especially Google. that hasn't happened.
Thank you. Sorry, I need to get to the requests here. Councilmember Ortiz.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I also just want to thank the great staff at the library department and all of our departments here for your hard work, dedication to enriching the education of all residents, regardless of the age, throughout our city. I'm very much interested in the educational services that you guys are providing. I think, coming from a school board background, a lot of people say that, the city doesn't have a role in education, but I disagree with that. It takes a village to make sure that the next generation's ready to take over this city and this country. I have a few questions, but I really want to emphasize, and like I usually do when this comes up, the importance of workforce development. I think, but especially relationships with employers, right? We can train individuals to have the skills, but if we do not have existing relationships with hiring partners, we're just training to train people. So I hope that hopefully in the future, maybe we can establish partnerships with employers here in the city of San Jose that agree to hire individuals from our workforce development pipelines. So quick question. I know you've mentioned various different educational programs to support youth throughout the city. I wanted to ask, how competitive are these programs? I know that we have grants for individuals who come from low-income families, which is great. I'm happy to see that. I'm also happy to see how the amount of individuals who are taking advantage of those available dollars as well. But are we turning away a large amount of individuals from the programs? If so, what does it look like for the next session? Are they prioritized? Just if we could have some comments around that.
Yes, thank you so much for the question. I would love to have my colleagues from PRNS speak on their programs in terms of the scholarships, since they really are the experts there.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Monique Melchor, San Jose Works. Hello, council members. For San Jose Works, we do have waiting lists. We can only serve a certain amount of subsidized youth. It all depends on funding. We do get general funds, of course, but we can only serve about 375 youth a year with those funds because they're getting paid for a program. And of course, it's a good rate that they receive. But of course, that limits us to the number of individuals that we serve. So 375 is what we're currently serving for subsidized, and then we serve an additional 400 for our unsubsidized program where they go with private employers. But to make the program more robust, and if you do want to serve additional individuals that might need our services, then unfortunately we would need more funding to provide that. There is a wait list, consistent.
How about to be more specific, the education programs categorized under the expanding education beyond the school day that serve the youth? Do we see a lot of interest in that? Is there a wait list? Are people told that they can't be enlisted in certain cohorts or years?
I will say that for library programming specifically, we do not generally have wait lists for programs. Our programs are free of cost.
That's great.
And so we are open to essentially as many folks as we can have in the building. We do see a great deal of interest in expanded learning programs. We have quite a bit of interest in after-school programming or weekend programming. That is where a great deal of our things like homework clubs or literacy programs or coding programs happen during that space. And so we really are only limited, by space, essentially.
I see. So then by space, are we at maximum capacity, or can we accept more? That's what I'm trying to get at.
It depends on the program.
Okay.
Yeah, we have such a wide variety of programs that I think it really depends on which one we're looking at. Expanded learning is a fairly broad category. It covers a lot of different areas. But I can certainly look more into that and follow up with you.
These services are so essential to our students' success. Are we partnering with local school districts like Alum Rock, San Jose Unified, Mount Pleasant School District.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, we
okay.
absolutely partner with many of our school districts, in fact, most of them. It's one of the main components of the School City Collaborative is to have that, that relationship building with the district, but also on the local level, not just with the superintendents, also with the schools, the principals, the teachers, the parents. All of our branch librarians do school outreach to local schools in their community to promote programming and services. We also work very closely with many of the districts you mentioned. We have our Mount Pleasant branch, Bridge Branch Library at a school in Mount Pleasant.
I'm aware.
And so there's a very long and very close working relationship with many, many of our schools.
Good, great. I just want to make sure that we're utilizing our resources, and I know that there's great need in all of our districts, but especially in my district. So just if there's ways in which you can partner with my office to raise awareness of these resources, I'd love to, because in my opinion, you know, based on need, people should be knocking the library's doors down, running into these buildings and getting these services for our youth on the east side. And given that, I know that, especially in my district, in the Elm Rock School District, we have the reading scores aren't where they need to be. And given we're spending so much, you know, money on some of these programs, is there any way for us to measure the impact in you know, in the neighborhoods in which we're focused?
It's a good question and an interesting one. You know, obviously being a library rather than a school, we work within different parameters than say a school that does literacy evaluations regularly, that work within a curricula that is approved by the state. One of the things that we are looking for when we evaluate programs based on the expanded learning quality standards is whether students have demonstrated learning and progress. Obviously that varies, you know, depending on what exactly the program is and what the purpose of the program is, but that is definitely one of the aims of rolling out the quality standards and expanding it to more and more programs.
Okay, great. I'd love to see, I don't know if there's a way to develop a MOU with school districts to maybe track some of these students' performances, but I'd like to expand this program, and in order to expand it, we have to have some sort of data to advocate for that. I don't know if our city librarian would like to add.
Good afternoon. I'm so sorry to jump in. I probably should have been down here. First of all, they all are amazing, aren't they? I'm so proud of the team. But I did want to acknowledge your questions are right on the money, and that as Samantha said, the work of creating logic models for all the programs in parks and libraries and Work to Future, and then quality standards that move us along the logic model towards advanced quality, but it's also towards assessment. So every program is assessing the outcomes. And to your last question, we do have an MOU with the County Office of Education around the data zone, which is the primary, and that was our real pilot to see if we could track student outcomes, participation in city programs, and what is that impact on some of the key indicators for success, including attendance rates, including, you know, reading scores, math scores, being at grade level, graduating, like all of those important outcomes. As you know, you have an insight into school districts more than most, but the data zone is not a universally used product. You know, the goal is that it would be. Most of our school districts were using it, and now we're looking at other solutions if a school district is not able to use it. So we're absolutely on the same page and continuing to work towards that. And I think that's a major you know, consideration with the Children Youth Master Plan as well, is how can we get the data that respects privacy of our students, but tells us as a city that our investments in education are making an impact.
Exactly. I just want to reinforce that I love the work that is being done by the library. This is the work that I want to see. This is the stuff that I want to support as a council member. But just, you know, as we go into the budget seasons and things like that, that data will give us ammunition to say, like, look, this is moving the needle. Because we do have a responsibility as a city to make sure that the workforce of tomorrow is prepared, right? The economy is not just about bringing businesses here, but making sure that the youth that are here are prepared for those businesses coming. But thank you. And one last question. I was wondering, I know that, I see my thing flashing. I know that we had initially, and I know money's limited, but we're expanding digital equity, and I think we were focusing on Eastside Union High School District, Franklin McKinley, Alamark, those areas first. Are we going to go expand any more this year, maybe San Jose Unified or anything?
Are you referring to the community Wi-Fi
Yes,
specifically?
yes,
I don't think that we have a current funding plan for additional antennas.
I know it's expensive.
We're doing an assessment of the efficacy of the community Wi-Fi networks, and that will come back to council with information about how to improve the indoors efficacy of the networks, and some recommendations about how we might invest in that, and that could also lead to a discussion about expanding the networks.
All right, thank you. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Torres.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. This type of work is, as you can imagine, very, very, very important for our youth, right, and the success of our city. So, thank you so much. And, in these presentations, we don't get the full impact of these programs, right? And, that's why we meet in these committees and we have conversations offline about how we can do these programs better, how we can serve our community better, right? Because we're obviously all one team, right? And so I did see some I shouldn't say issues, or I did see things in the presentation or in the memo that I do have some questions about. So I have about 3 questions. So one of them is, does the Homework Club program offer virtual opportunities for those who have transportation problems? And is there a way to expand accessibility?
Yes, thank you for your question. We do have some virtual homework clubs and some in-person and some hybrid opportunities. So it sort of varies depending on the location, but we do have those options for folks. If there were more interest in one versus the other, our librarians are usually very, keep their ear to the ground. They're always soliciting feedback from our residents. And so, we're able to be flexible and adaptive in that way.
Great, that's important. And the other one is the reading comprehension program, right? Is that through a social? I can't even read myself. Social justice lens, because I know that is extremely important.
Yes, I think you're referring to the program in the memo. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. That is a program that was run through our Teen HQ over at King Library.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually my question should be, and I think Councilmember Ortiz already asked it. How do we measure the success of this program? I think it's important to know that, if we're going to continue to invest more money and expand the program, like how do we know that it's really working?
I think it's a good question, and I think it's one that we are, we're still grappling with exactly what that looks like. The quality standards are sort of the beginning of that, of working through that logic model that Jill mentioned. And then, bringing us to that next phase of assessment and looking at some external data sources such as the data zone so that we can look at school district information and we can really get to that next deeper level.
If I could just add as well, thank you. That specific program was very exciting. It's a pilot program. It was the first time it was done, and a lot of times the first time we do a program is the assessment is a self-assessment. So you see that the participants, self-report an improvement in their own reading comprehension and comfort with topics of social justice. But always thinking towards how do we do more of a clinical assessment whenever possible. I'm not sure that we know of one that exists for that specific program, but we do self-assessments with typical in most of our programming.
Great. No, that's extremely important, and I do know the challenges of digital inclusion and Wi-Fi for our community. However, that's very, very important. I know that Councilmember Ortiz has served on a couple of local school district boards, and so have I. And right around the time of the pandemic, I was serving on the San Jose Evergreen Community College District Board of Trustees. And it was very sad to hear that we had a lot of folks on our end drop out of community college because they wanted their kids to make sure that their kids' Wi-Fi was working. Because remember, we're serving a high needs population with a lot of kids, right? And so our students will say, you know what, I won't go to school just so my younger sibling or my children can have better Wi-Fi reception for their class, right? So, and we saw that, and it's very unfortunate. So, how do we, for folks who are coming into the east side or residents, you know, it's a high volatile district, how do we make sure that we're getting to every family, making sure that they have Wi-Fi?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, as you know, we implemented the Digital Inclusion Fund program that partners with organizations that work in the communities, in the hardest to reach both communities and populations. And we partner with these agencies. We've had, I think we have currently, how many grantees? 7 grantees. And each is a partner to help us reach households that are currently either underconnected or unconnected. In addition to that, we have the host of other programs that we've talked about. The council has funded hotspot programs, the community Wi-Fi, others as well. Great. But that is part of the big digital equity assessment that we're currently undertaking. We're hoping to bring to council shortly in the spring. That is providing us with updated data from the FCC maps and really understanding like which households down to the neighborhood level, to the block level, are really unconnected, so we can create targeted strategies around reaching those households. And it's areas like mobile home areas right. are challenging, you know, all of these things. And then, you know, we've partnered extensively with AT&T during the pandemic. We're looking at like, what does the next phase of partnership look like with our telecommunications partners? And, you know, what kind of options can they give the city to help our lowest income residents be able to be connected long-term, right? Not with a short-term, right. you know, Band-Aid option like a hotspot that we lend to them, but really a long-term connection that can serve their entire family, to your point.
Great. No, thank you for that. I think it's important that we continue to figure out ways on how we can provide, you know, all these utilities, right? We call them public utilities, but, you know, let's be real, they're not public, right? Because people have to pay for them, and they're pretty expensive, right? And then my last one is for me is extremely important, because we're in Silicon Valley, right? And a lot of the high-tech companies, right, they're in our backyard, unfortunately, right? And you've already heard me say a couple times, you know, corporations have to step it up, right? But also we need to make sure that our youth, right, especially our youth in most of the council districts that we serve, right, are ready to take over these tech jobs, right, or be ready to slide into these high-tech jobs, right? And so I'm gonna point out to the Coding 5K and the Tech Mentoring program, and Councilmember Ortiz already mentioned it, that I think that we need to dig a little bit deeper when it comes to the data. So maybe I have a standing meeting with you, Jill, and maybe in our next meeting you can bring me a data breakdown of participants, from our various zip codes who are using Coding 5K and Tech Mentoring. And so, you know, I want to know if we really have under-resourced students from 95122, 95127, 95116, 95110, and 95112 taking these programs, because those are, as we can imagine, those are the most under-resourced zip codes in our city of San Jose. And so I want to make sure that our brown and black, Filipino and Vietnamese kids are ready to take on these high-tech jobs, right in our backyard. So that's why I think it's important for us to break down the data a little bit more moving forward. So, and then with that, thank you, Councilor Ortiz. Yeah, I guess Councilor Ortiz forgets to always motion as well when he speaks. I move to cross-reference this item to the full City Council. Great. And that's it for me. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Candelas.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Thank you. I want to thank staff for their report, and I appreciate the work that's being done within our community, specifically targeted at our youth. I appreciate the work specifically in the digital access space. I know there's a need, specifically in my district, and I was happy to see the Silver Creek High School community Wi-Fi spot open up, and it's up and running. So a few questions. I know my colleague already touched on the what kind of education partnerships we have, and I'm happy to see that we're leaning in on that. But one of the concerns I have is with I guess the disparity that still remains. In attachment E, for example, of like a micro example is the number of library cards. We have 26 schools in the Alum Rock School District, with the number of library cards given out to those students as a little bit under 7,000, 26 schools. But in comparison, another school district, for example, a school district that I represent, Evergreen School District, has 16 schools, 10 schools less, and we have 9,000 library cards given out, which is something I'm super proud of because of the great partnerships we have. But, that's still, a delta of 2,000 cards, library cards, which is just, again, a micro example, but it's a disparity. Which means we need to lean in and see how we can expand that. Yes, there may be just a numbers, just a sheer number of students within those schools. Well, I mean, but there's still kids in those school districts. So I implore us to lean in a little bit on that and see how we can close the gap a little bit, and to move the needle on that. And not just Evergreen, Mount Pleasant, same could be said. So I hope we look at that and take a serious look of how we're going to increase equity, specifically on this example. And Jill, I know you do a great work in our library, and that's actually one of the biggest highlights as I talk to residents, saying, hey, how great of a job the library system's doing, and the research that our libraries are to our residents. But I think we could do a little bit better. But not. And to another point is, shifting a little bit from our libraries is the ROC program and the after-school component of what we do for recreation. I've heard residents want to see more slots, more capacity. So I guess this question's for PRNS is, are we looking to see how we can expand capacity, whether it's city subsidized or not, in places where the demand, because I know there's waiting lists in a few of the ROC sites that I have, and I think I have a few in our district, but can maybe you comment a little bit about that?
Yes, thank you for that question. Good afternoon. I'm House Vandenberg, Division Manager for Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services. We are always looking to expand our ROC program. We have multiple partnerships with school districts across the city. Specifically this year, we've added 3 or 4 new ROC sites. A lot of the capacity issues are based on the space that a school can provide us for classroom space. Once we do have a wait list and a demand, we typically go to the school administration and ask for more space so we can provide service to more students. We continually look at our enrollment and do go after those conversations when we reach capacity. Currently, overall, for our ROC program, we're at 25 sites, and we do still have capacity, but there are some sites specifically in your district, Councilmember, that are at capacity.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So where were those 3 to 4 ROC sites opened, Hal, if you don't mind me asking? I know this is I don't know, it's probably hard to have offhand, but
No, I can pull it up.
specifically, are any of them in D8? And if not, I mean, I want to be able to help in basically bridge that gap, you know, or communication to my colleague's point earlier with the school district. I'm a resource because I know a couple principals at a couple schools have already connected and said, hey, you know, we'd love to have something like this. So if you are, you know, if you need a little help moving the needle, I mean, that's what I'm here for. And over communication is never a bad thing, especially with my office.
That's actually a huge help for us.
Yeah.
Typically in the past, our department will go into schools, sometimes unsolicited, to see if they need more services.
Yeah.
But if it comes from a superintendent level or a council member level, it's been a lot more successful for us to add a school site. So if you do have those connections or are talking to a school that needs another after-school care provider, we're more than happy to pick up that conversation and meet with that school district or the specific administration at the school to look at adding a site there.
Yeah, wonderful. That's great. I appreciate that. And so, yeah, feel free to connect. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And the last point I'll touch on is specifically with, you know, the good work that our San Jose Works and our Work to Future program is doing in the summer. I had the privilege of going to visit a site as students were, you know, getting ready to onboard and to take on, you know, their summer internships, if you will. And I was happy to host a couple students this past summer. So, you know, keep up the good work on that. And to my colleague's point, Peter made or Councilmember Ortiz made a lot of great points in his statement. So I'm just piggybacking on them. Is we need to be able to, you know, ensure that our youth are given an outlet, and more importantly, given the skills to be able to succeed, because that is the formula to have a healthy community and a stronger community. So, you know, not just with our Work to Future, our city does great job on that, but it needs to be a holistic approach to how we do this, and there's a lot of work ahead, especially with the integration of the Children and Youth Services Master Plan and being able to, again, use the logic model so we can track and quantify the progress and be able to point to, see, we are safer because of X or because of Y or Z. So that being said, I'll yield the remaining, 5 minutes, 3 minutes? Thank you.
Councilmember Dwan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, staff, for the report, and thank you for the great work that you do. I just have a couple of questions. A little bit earlier, the amount of people anticipate of serving is approximately 365, right? Well, around 365. What would you anticipate? How many more can you service with the capacity that you have?
Yes, thank you for the question. Which program were you referring to?
I believe the youth work program.
Work to Future?
Yes.
The San Jose Works?
Yes.
So we pay them a wage of about $18 an hour, so we really have to look at that, and then the amount of weeks that we provide to the youth. So you're really looking at how much per youth it would be. So we'd kind of have to crunch the numbers a little bit, but it costs overall for our program quite a bit with the staffing and just the wages, and then we have an employer of record, so there's a lot that goes into it. We could ask for a finite additional dollar amount to serve maybe 100 more, but we'd have to crunch the numbers to see what that actually is.
Yeah, I was just thinking if you're given an estimate, anticipation of amount of people, let's say 500 kids that you can support, then you can come up with the numbers to
Yes.
ask for the funding, and that's where we can try to find the funding, right? But if you don't have that anticipated number, then we're kind of
we can give it
lost in the wood.
We can give it to you based on 100 increments, if that's what you're asking for. Because it means more staff as well to support
Correct.
the youth, so we'd have
Yes.
to. And we just worked on that. The county might be partnering with us, and it was, I think, about to serve 100 more youth, somewhere in the area of about $1 million.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Regarding the digital community Wi-Fi, I know that on your presentation there was 5 new networks they've been installed. Now, there was about 8,000, almost 9,000 people that use the service monthly, right? And I know these Wi-Fi network, how do people access it, right? I've tried to access that right on the corner of Story and McLaughlin, and I was unable to. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm not digitally, skillful, but I've tried a few other areas. Some work and some don't. And how do we improve upon that and also let the residents know that these are the network that is available, so that way they can be connected?
Thank you for the question, Councilmember. The networks in partnership with the school districts have a certain number of antennas, and so to your point, they are associated with the attendance areas of the high schools. So we know that there are some areas that have better coverage than others, but the discoverability is similar to any Wi-Fi network where you open your phone and look for Wi-Fi networks. It pops up, it has a landing page, and it's accessible that way. But part of the reason we're doing some assessments of the network is to understand where there are blank spots, where there are connectivity issues, where we might need to expand, and where the signal is strong enough and fast enough to really support user needs in their homes. It is an outdoor Wi-Fi network, so that's part of the challenge. We do have the capability for the public to report any Wi-Fi issues through 311. And that all is compiled and shared with us so that we can hopefully address those issues. And we've done significant outreach, media about the networks, working in partnership with the schools as well. But, we're always happy if you, to partner with council offices or anyone you suggest to get the word out even more.
Will do. I'll have my staff reach out to you on that. On the 9,600 hotspot device, if you will, I wonder if it would be much more efficient if we use that money to create more Wi-Fi huts or Wi-Fi throughout the city. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're sort of reading my mind earlier when I was talking with Ann about, we've always known that a circulating hotspot collection meets a temporary need. It is not a long-term need. And so, we've recommended since the pandemic each year that collection is smaller in size and that we actually are investing more in long-term solutions. So that is something that we'll be talking with Angela about and considering in our next proposals for digital investment, but also in the library's budget. So we're exactly thinking the same thing and just trying to find out what are the best investments for a long-term connection for our residents.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, and I want to thank my colleagues for their great questions and the discussion, and all of you for all your work and the report. I have a few questions of my own. I want to make sure I understand the attachment. It looks like there are assessments, self-assessments in here, and then I get to page 76, and it says the target for completion for citywide quality standards implementation and assessment process is June 2025. So can you tell me a little bit? I don't understand. It looks like you're already doing it, but then it says the timeline's June 2025. So can you talk a little bit about how that's worked,
Yes.
What the disconnect is that
Absolutely.
I'm not making the connection.
So the assessments that are in the attachment, I think you're speaking about, are for college and career programs.
There was one for parks for early education, and there was one for library for early education.
And then the specific target for June 2025 citywide implementation is for the college and career quality standards.
Okay, got it.
So those were adopted in 2020, piloted with 3 programs at the library in 2021. Last fiscal year, we essentially had system-wide implementation at the library, and in the last 6 months have expanded to additional city departments that host college and career programs. So SJ Works is one of those, and then we have also partners with 5 other departments that we've sort of focused on for this initial outreach stage to make sure that we're providing the technical assistance that's needed for other departments to learn how to utilize these quality standards and the assessment tools that we've developed. And then, so we're sort of in this 3rd stage of quality standards implementation for the college and career quality standards, and then the goal is to have full citywide implementation by June 2025.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So you started with the early education quality standards, and this is moving towards the college and career readiness standards. Right. Obviously, they're going to be different.
Yeah, I think the order was early ed went first, council approved those, then expanded learning, and then digital equity, I think, or literacy, and then college and career was the last one, and then the equity, diversity, inclusion. So they're all on their own calendar. That really is part of this annual assessment report. But I think this is what's remarkable about what Amanda is speaking to, is this is the first time that the standards for college and career are really moving to departments across the city. So we really are trying to achieve what the council's been asking for, which is really a coordinated approach towards employment for our residents.
Yeah, great, thank you. And I do appreciate, I know there's a ton of data here. I did want to ask a little bit about, so I went through the PRNS and the library early education self-assessments, and I'd like to ask, what is, so there was a difference in the self-assessment outcomes between the library and PRNS. Some strengths in one department, some strengths in another department, so, and they don't necessarily all overlap. And so I'm wondering, what is the sort of cross-pollination happening across the 2 departments to help you all come to not just, there's sort of on the cusp of between basic and proficient, and then in proficient, but basic in an area that PRNS was proficient or exceptional in. What's the cross-pollination that's happening so everybody can, both our departments can get to proficient, and we can have a standard quality level for all of our programs for early education?
I do want to acknowledge that Lauren Hawkins, who's the lead for early ed for PRNS, is off adding to the early education population in San Jose. But that is the group that we've had the quality standards the longest, and they're the most established in a partnership. And so I know they do work together closely in the programs across both departments. So that might be something we could ask our experts who aren't here today to give a more detailed response about their plan for next year in terms of, to your point, maximizing the strengths of both programs. But they definitely have worked cross-departmentally, and so I think Hal and I can both speak to that.
I can just add a little bit to that too. I know our departments work very closely together, specifically with our early education programs, and in the summer, when the library has, for example, their summer reading program, we implement that into our programs as well. So our teams do work very closely together, not only when we were developing these quality standards and tools that we utilize, but also to implement programming in both of our areas. And, obviously the library has some expertise that we don't, and PRNS has some expertise that the library might not have, and we do like to work together to add to both of our departments' programs.
Thank you. And I would just really appreciate, I know there's a ton of data in these, in the attachment, and the memo itself didn't really talk about the outcomes. It would be, and I'll say our public commenter had a similar comment to what I was going to say, which is, where are the outcomes? The number of people you serve is something you could honestly just throw on a table instead of have all the discussion about it for each of the programs, and then really talk about not how many we're serving, but how we are serving and the quality, and also the areas for improvement that you're going to be focusing on in the upcoming year would be really helpful information to have. For example, it looked like the strengthening families piece was a piece that hasn't really been addressed in the PRNS programs. There are probably 100 reasons why that's the case, but it was noticeable to me that piece wasn't there. And we know with early learning how important families are as first teachers, that seemed like an issue that could be addressed and should be prioritized. I could be wrong. There might be other things, but it would be really helpful to know what you've targeted from your self-assessment and just kind of pull out some things like, we're focusing on this is what we're doing. Here are some of the challenges either that the council can help with or that we should at least know about for the programs, because I know that you strive for continuous improvement, and we want to hear about that. And I really appreciate that we have quality standards and that we are moving the ball forward for our families and our really young children. That's the whole point of the Children and Youth Master Plan. And that's the other kind of point I wanted to make, is that it would be helpful to know how, when we're coming forward with this report, how it fits in to the Children and Youth Master Plan. I know we haven't passed that yet, but that's just for additional other years. That's for Peter to take on next year, since I won't be here. But I just wanted to give that feedback, since this is my opportunity to do that. Did you want to say something, Angel?
Well, just to add to that, if you take a look back, you'll see that really under the library's leadership, there was kind of like the move towards quality standards, right? Let's adopt an educational policy. Let's just kind of codify it. Let's talk about it. Let's start to incorporate it into our public policy. And then that led to some specific efforts, right? Both in PRNS and library and others, Work the Future. And then as we went forward, then, we have this digital inclusion, strategy, and all great efforts in and of themselves, right? So as we look forward, I think the Children Youth Master Plan is going to be the perfect opportunity to really weave all these things together, right? And do it in a very systemic way where we're leveraging. I mean, right now we have interdepartment coordination like we have never seen it before in the city, right?
That's great.
And so we'll be building on that. And then also, as we do that, to the points that were made around outcomes and performance measures and all, it's how do we, by weaving all these things together, then really take a look at how do we measure success? How do we measure outcomes? How do we measure performance? And then how do we use that, to Councilmember Ortiz's point, to kind of go out in the private sector and say, hey, we got to have a different conversation here. On our end, we're going to help prepare tomorrow's workforce, but we need some skin in the game from you, right? As Councilmember Torres has also mentioned. And that puts us in a better position to then negotiate, right, around these opportunity pathways that our young people need. And so, again, on the eve of kind of the Children Youth Master Plan coming, I think it's going to be an opportunity to kind of just weave all this together and just continue down this trajectory. So.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And it's obviously the first step is figuring out the standards and putting them in place, and having assessments is fantastic. So I'm just suggesting we take the next step with the next reports. And although you are coming at the end of February, so if there's something you can change in the report that comes to council, I think that would be really helpful. I did want to ask this is sort of a more detailed question. Yadira, you talked about re-envisioning the computer science programming for youth. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Good question. Thank you so much, and I could do my best. I'm not new to the work, but definitely to the role. And so the envision is to be able to dive deeper into providing curriculum for all ages, and to be able to, as we've spoken about, career development and being able to use that curriculum to support all age groups and all walks of life. I can't specifically detail what that curriculum looks like, but that's sort of like the idea and the approach that we're taking to be able to work with college and workforce development as well, and be able to embed computer science and coding programming, so that's supported for our residents.
Thank you. And do we have volunteers from our local employers to help with that?
Yeah, so the the city has implemented the Coding 5K program for several years, and so
Yeah.
we're looking at how do we morph that to be this more of a computer science and more aligned with these other strategies, right? As Yadira said, and so initially the Coding 5K was established in partnership with local tech companies where they might have volunteers that would help teach the classes. You know, the pandemic kind of put a damper on some of that, but that is part of the model, is that we do work with, you know, they provide donations and they also provide time to support the program. And so that would be something we'd be looking at reinitiating.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And then the last question I had, I really appreciate the outreach with schools to provide library cards. I think it's a great way to break down that barrier. And so I'm going to ask one data question about that, which is, I love all the numbers of how many kids have gotten cards. Do we have information on usage of those new cards?
Yes, we can certainly get that.
Okay.
For you. And then, you know, another council member question earlier was that, you know, not every school in every district has worked with us to get cards yet. We're certainly have done the outreach and will continue to do so. So we always appreciate, you know, maybe we'll reach out to you if we're trying to reach into a school that hasn't yet been able to take advantage of the school library card.
Yeah, thank you. I think we're all happy to make calls like that. Those are easy calls to make. It's much easier than asking for money. All right, no other comments from my colleagues, it looks like, so we're ready for the vote. And thank you very much. Appreciate all this work.
I just wanted to mention one thing really quickly in regards to Councilman Doan's question. For Work to Future, the cost per, it's about $6,000. So I wanted to make sure you knew that. So it's about $600,000 for an additional 100 youth.
Thank you. And that was our only item for today, so we will move on to open forum.
Zoom caller Blair.
Hi, Blair Bakery. 24 to everyone. I just wanted to say hi. Thanks for the meeting today. Here's what I was talking about. Continuing practices.
Blair, we're having trouble hearing you.
Is my voice a little too soft?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm in a library, so good luck to accountability in 2024, and that we can work towards peace and negotiation. People. Thank you.
Next caller, Zoom caller Paul Soto.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. One of the reasons why I thank you for your advocacy on this board, this work should have been done a long time ago. We got hundreds of millions of dollars during COVID to specifically do this kind of work. And what I got from the library is this very lackadaisical, very nonchalant, very cavalier, taking this like not really serious at all, man. It's like, you know what, the children that are the offspring of the cannery workers, and there is no viable employment for them. What we depend upon when we vote for you is that you are going to have the foresight so that when you are in office and a position of power, that you are doing that advocacy piece. I shouldn't be necessary. I should not be necessary in the community to push on that. Now, the reason why I'm pissed about it is because when all these talks, when 2016, when that non-disclosure agreement was signed and all of this money started going into the barrios in order to see what the barrios wanted and feed that information back to Google, what ended up happening was I wanted a university. I wanted a university that was going to be set up and it was going to be staffed with Google engineers. And you were going to go, you're going to make a deal and part-time, like a vocational school. You were going to go to that part-time to learn a viable skill. And then you were going to do that for the last 2 years of high school. As soon as you graduate, you have a direct line to Google employment if you want it. Now, this would have been responsible, and this is what I pushed for. And I got pushed out of the way. Why? because people wanted their hand. They had their hand in that $200 million deal. They wanted their cut out of that $200 million. So they weren't going to rock the boat. They weren't going to push no issue. They weren't going to push an issue. Why is it that I'm the one that has to be concerned about the education, the educating minds of the youth of the future? And you guys are in it for the money for that 200 million. That's chump.
Thank you. We are adjourned.